Ron's Ladle Studios. Here's In Shane and the Membrane.
Hello and welcome to the In Shane and the Membrane podcast. I'm your host, Shane Thompson, and with me as always is the best friend you'll never have, Ken H. What up, Ken? Please don't.
Thank you. Knowing my luck, that didn't show
I'm sure
up.
it didn't.
But just the slight chance that it did.
Do you know
is
why?
worth me rolling the dice.
That's probably true. Do you know why you're the best friend they'll never have?
Does this look like rolling dice?
No, it doesn't. No comment. Do you know why you're the best friend they'll never have?
Go ahead and hit me with your best shot.
No, you normally give me reasons why. You have like 5 stupid reasons. You don't want to say any of your stupid reasons?
Nah.
Okay, good. So you're a good friend, but at this stage in your life, you're too busy for friendships. You ain't got no time for friendships.
Ain't got time for stuff like that.
So you're the best friend that they'll never have. Maybe
That's pretty much.
in your 70s and 80s, maybe. So look Ken up.
Well,
In about 20 years or so, he might still be working. I don't know, but if he's still alive,
we're going to have to
he
lose
could be
one.
a good friend.
It could either be by choice or death.
Lose one?
Like lose a friend so that I can replace that spot.
No, I'm saying right now you don't have time for any friends.
I know. I do have time for the ones I have.
No, you just went to see a movie. You didn't invite me. You know I want to go see that movie.
I didn't invite you because I didn't want you going.
Wow. I'm hurt. I would invite you no matter what.
That's not true.
What are you doing in a movie? Are you talking to other people? Are you really spending time with other people in a movie? No, you're sitting there watching a movie. Who cares what group it is?
Knowing you because I was daddy.
Did you eat? Did you go to eat before?
No.
Well, did you go eat after?
No.
So you just went to the movie?
No, but I bought popcorn and the candy and the drinks and stuff. Knowing you would have snuck up there like you were my kid.
No.
And said,
No.
I'll take some too.
No, I would have split it with you. It would have cost less. We would have had more.
You're going to pay for my wife to go to the movie?
No. I'm talking about the
maybe
food.
she didn't want you going.
Why would I pay for your tickets? I'm not going to.
Maybe she didn't want you going.
Well, if that's true, that also hurts my feelings a little bit less. Ask her.
Do you know?
That's true.
You definitely know Carson. Shout out. Didn't want you going.
He's indifferent. Carson's indifferent to everything.
That is not true.
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
100%
fallacy.
true. I don't know that he cares about anything.
He cares about more stuff than you would.
I don't know about that.
Because you're not discussing critical things with him on a daily basis.
Listen. You didn't invite me. I want to see the movie. Jeff saw it without me too. That's fine. I'll never see it. It's okay. It's a 4-hour movie. I don't really need to spend 4 hours of my life watching a movie, so it's fine. I don't care. Let's move on.
Should we do this real quick?
Yeah.
When you're having a hell of a day, the only way is the Scott J way. Paintless dent repair.
Dent Services brought to you by Scott J and Company. I don't know that there's a company.
There's a phone number here.
I'm not giving it out.
So if you have hail damage to your car,
Listen.
call 405-641-DENT. That's 405-641-DENT.
Listen. The name of his company, and Scott gave us this. Look, I'm wearing the shirt too, Scott. He gave us this stuff. He didn't pay us, so I can say whatever I want. It's Dent Services.
Yeah.
Okay. Now down in the little red, much smaller font, it says Paintless Dent Repair. Okay. But the name of the company is Dent Services, and I thought that's like misleading. If you tell me your company's Dent Services, I'm like, oh, so you provide dents? Like, you provide dents? And then I thought, well, who needs dents?
Yeah, be like, hey, Siri, doll, blah, 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 blah. Hey, Scott J, I would like a dent in my car today.
Okay. Listen, I thought through this. Who needs dents? Who would need dents?
Oh, people like trying to scam insurance companies, stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's one.
I'm liking this business.
How many other people do that? Hey, listen, if you're
Yeah.
upset at your spouse or your girlfriend or boyfriend, they cheated on you, and
Oh,
you want to pull a
nice.
Carrie
Yeah.
Underwood on them, boom.
So
Give
we
Scott J a
We
call.
got insurance fraud.
Hey.
Revenge.
Yeah, and here's the best part.
Nice.
The best part is Scott could come over, he can dent it up, okay?
Yeah.
And then he could put his card on, hey, give me a call if you want a free estimate on paintless dent repair.
Nice.
Gets them coming and going.
Coming and going.
It's
yes.
fantastic.
That's what she
right?
said.
What do you think, Scott? I'm just throwing it out there. Because the name of the company is Dent Services. It sounds like we provide dent service.
I think we've already given enough time. He's going to have to pony up if he wants more than
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, in truth, Scott does good work.
Mhm.
I don't know if he's worth it, but he does good work.
Does good work.
Anyway, thanks for the stuff, Scott.
I keep wanting to look up here, but it's really
The
down
shirt.
here.
The shirt is
Down
too
here.
small.
Do you know that?
Oh no, I didn't know that.
So we're like actors
I'm
now.
just looking at me. I don't care about
Yeah,
everybody else. I
look
just
down.
care about me. Scott, the shirt that we picked for Ken is too small.
Yeah, that's insulting.
Extra small does not fit Ken.
No, it doesn't. My big leg.
You've
fits
lost
in it.
weight, though. I gave you the benefit of the doubt,
Oh,
and you're
man.
mad at me because I gave you the benefit of the doubt. I don't understand that.
Oh Lordy.
Are you mad at me? Yes, you are. You just said before we started recording, you're like, oh, you helped him choose the shirt size. You know I'm not that size. I'm like, no, I don't know you're not that
I gotta
size.
have some room to breathe. I don't want my nips sticking out of the shirt.
So, Scott, do you have any moo-moos, paint dent services moo-moos
That would
that
be
you could hook
freaking awesome.
Ken up with?
Would you come dress me as well?
This is getting weird now.
So
All
it
right.
feels like we hadn't recorded in a year,
No, I know.
but
I know.
we've
Hey,
been busy.
we've talked,
Yeah.
mainly me to you, and I want to go back to every other week.
I'm gonna call you out
excuse me,
though.
every week.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead.
Call you out.
Okay, go ahead. Call me out.
You're gonna have to pull more of your weight.
I will. You're just like my wife. Okay? Here's what she does,
Like,
and here's what you do.
She
that,
must
that
be
upsets
freaking
me.
awesome.
She is awesome, but this is not awesome. You and her both. You think of me in terms of my past performance, and therefore you always assume that my future will be identical to my past. Specifically negatives. So like, oh, Shane's going to be late because he's always late. I'm not always late. I'm late sometimes. That doesn't mean I'm always late. And that doesn't mean I'm going to be late in the future. So I'd appreciate the benefit of
I'm
the doubt.
gonna go ahead and call you out. No, I'm not. I'm not basing it on anything. I'm just saying, you. How about this? You show me something, then we'll proceed.
Listen, I have
So-
pulled my weight. I've done everything you wanted me to do.
Not everything. Not, remember that one time out at Lake Arcadia?
Within reason and within the moral framework that I've established. Anywho, listen, I will. Here, okay, so we talked, and I personally want to go back to every other week, and Ken's too busy. Once again, he can't be your friend. He's certainly.
I'm fine with the every other week.
Yes, he works 95 hours
You
a
don't
week.
even know what you're saying.
Do you work 95 hours a week? How many hours a week do you work? Total.
95 would be a slow week. You've said every other week like 3 times.
Every week. I know.
Yes.
We've been on every other week, and now I want to
You
go
just-
every week
I
like we
know.
used to do every week.
So just to repeat, and you could go back and listen to this.
I don't-
You opened up with every other week,
I
then you
said that.
immediately corrected it to every week. Then we went off on a tangent, and then you came back and said every other week again.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for reminding me of my mistakes. I appreciate
Is that
it.
just like your wife too?
Yes, 100%. I'm only
Shout out.
what I've done in the past, and I'm only what people remember in the past, and they usually remember the negative more than the positive. So therefore, my future performance is always just purely negative, like always negative, because that's how I'm remembered. I'm like, I don't always do so-and-so. I don't always start a project and not finish it. I do that sometimes.
Let me go back to the T-shirt. Okay,
All
I
right,
need
go
to
back to the
address some
T-shirt.
things.
Go ahead.
Scott, I appreciate the fact that you have a mental picture of me looking svelte. You like that word?
I do. It's a good word.
But in our case, the camera takes off 20 pounds.
Well, first of all, you're wearing 15 layers over there.
You never know what you're going to find in this office.
Yeah, you never know.
I was prepared. I'm going to peel some layers off as I go.
You should. You should.
So
till we get to the nougaty center. You know what I'm saying?
Double X T-shirt would be nice if you have it.
That would be the reward for everybody
fine.
sitting through this entire thing.
Yeah. How many looks does it take to get to the center of Kenneth? 1.
No.
2.
No. Ken.
Number 2.
Two times you've been inappropriate already.
We have
We're
some
like
ideas.
5 minutes in.
We're in a growth process, and I listened to a podcaster today discussing some pitfalls they went into when they changed things up.
Okay.
Dan Le Batard, big-time guy, big-time sports guy.
Yes.
He left ESPN, and he's been on his own for a couple of years, and he broke down saying it's been difficult. It's not necessarily a bad decision.
Okay.
But it's
What's
been
your point?
difficult.
What's your point? Do you have a point?
Yeah, we've made some changes, and we've had some growing pains. It hadn't been horrible.
I know. And speaking of, I want to apologize to all the listeners for last week's episode because I sounded terrible. Now we have Philip O. turned it off.
He did.
Didn't even listen to the whole thing. I don't blame him.
Man.
I don't blame him. I struggled listening to it as well. It sounded terrible.
Okay.
And I personally apologized to him.
Okay.
I gave him a full refund
Yeah.
of everything that he's given us.
Yeah.
And he appreciated that, and he said he's going to give us another shot. So
I think we're coming back with the fastballs today, okay?
Okay. I just hope that everybody can hear my voice. That'd be great.
I think
because once again, I'm the star.
You and if you're having a hell of a day, the only way is the Scott J way. Paintless Dent Repair.
Dent Services brought to you by Scott J and Company.
405-641-DENT.
We could totally do commercial work.
Sure.
Oh, we kill it, Ken. Fortunately, no one's willing to pay us.
My jingles are kind of like my presidential impressions. They all sound the same.
You only got one tone, one special. But hey, but anybody that needs that,
if you need that,
you're good. You're good.
So I'm gonna change topics.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring you into our podcast. So we have a couple of opening. We're gonna say 80-mile-an-hour fastball, so you can hit it. Okay.
That's not a fastball.
It is for me. That'd be a great fastball for me.
But in the big leagues, you know.
Who said we were in the big leagues?
Okay.
That's an assumption.
All right, fine. For you, 80 miles an hour is a fastball. Me too.
I'm gonna give you a softball.
Okay.
So
not fast pitch softball.
First topic.
Because there's fast pitch softball.
I got a couple of NBA.
When people say softball, they should say slow pitch softball to be clear.
Yeah, slow pitch softball.
Okay.
We both like sports. We like the NBA.
I do.
So NBA just kicked off, and
you did.
James Harden was Oklahoma City Thunder. It's where he started his career.
Once upon a time, he did.
Went to Houston. Russell Westbrook left the Thunder and played with him in Houston.
A brief stint,
and then they
minute or two.
Broke up. Westbrook's been a few other places.
He has been.
So
he's a journeyman.
James Harden, has a recent history.
Yes.
Of forcing his way out of town.
Okay.
If he doesn't like the situation.
Okay. Got it.
He showed up fat for training camp. He literally ate himself out of the Houston metro area.
Really?
He likes 2 things.
Okay.
3 things.
Okay.
Food.
Okay.
Money.
Okay.
And strip clubs.
Well, who doesn't?
So,
who doesn't love all 3 of those things? I don't fault him.
So he's with Philly right now.
I don't go to strip clubs. I've never been to a strip club.
And he gets he
male or female.
He calls out Daryl Morley, who used to be the general manager of Houston.
Okay, got it.
General manager of Philly right now. Yeah.
Rockets.
James Harden goes to China to do some kind of press thing.
China.
He's big in China.
Okay.
And he calls the general manager out. He says, my general manager is a liar, basically.
Okay.
Says it to the public.
Okay. This
doesn't
is old
show
news.
up. I know, but anyway, he finally gets traded yesterday.
Okay.
To L.A. Clippers.
Yeah, but he was with the Sixers.
I know he got traded to the LA Clippers yesterday.
I know. Well, he was in Houston, and then he went to the
Philly.
76ers.
Yeah, he's been with Philly for a couple of years, and now he just got traded to the Clippers. That was the team. He basically forced his way to Philly
for a bag of magic beans.
So all that was just background. So he shows up yesterday. The Clippers have a game on TV.
Okay.
They show him arriving at the
arena.
Well, the locker room. I couldn't think of the word.
It's the arena.
Shows up at the locker room.
Okay.
So they do. I don't think so, but they blow up the picture, and he's got 3 cell phones. Homeboy is carrying 3 cell phones. So anything on media now, you blow it up, and you got
That's
investigators
pretty
looking
shady.
at it.
Pretty shady.
So what's your? I can't take credit for this, but what's your guess that the 3 cell phones are for?
It's a Tiger Woods scenario where he's got a lot of honeys.
Why do you? Okay, so your guess is honeys.
Yeah, honeys.
That's for 1 cell phone or all 3?
I think 2 of them are specifically for different honeys, and then the third is like for everybody else type of thing. That's what I would assume.
Okay.
He's not married or anything. I mean, I'm not.
No.
So I'm sure he.
And I was listening to the radio today. The question was brought up: does he have any kids? Because again, he loves the honeys.
Okay.
And
we're spending too much time on this. Where else are you going? Oh,
that's a rookie mistake. Philip just turned it off.
That's my wife's calling me.
She knows better than that to call down.
I forgot to tell her. I don't think I told her that I was recording.
Nice.
You always tell Jenny, "Oh, I'm about to record."
So anyway, I can't take credit for it, but on the radio show today, the comment was made, and in a little more background. All breaking news in the NBA is broken by who?
ESPN?
The guy on ESPN is who? Woj. They call him Woj.
Oh, yeah. Wojnarowski.
Wojnarowski.
Yeah.
So the 3 cell phones are for Bros, Hoes, and Woj. So I can't. That's a dumb joke, but anyway, for real,
did you come up with that?
I said the radio guy came up with it.
I wasn't listening because I was texting Randa.
But shout out. But homeboy, I mean, this is if you're an NBA fan, this is a train wreck ready to happen. Everywhere he's gone recently, it's been a train wreck.
Yeah,
you have Westbrook and Harden reunited, and it feels so good. And then Paul George and Kawhi. I don't know what's up with Kawhi
George
anymore.
And
Kawhi could play, but he plays 3 games a year.
He's playing right now, right?
2 games.
I haven't followed
It's his
them.
record in the last 6 years.
I haven't followed them.
Sticking with the NBA, this one's a better topic. Okay. I told you earlier,
Good.
I got some Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen information.
Okay, yes. You did tell me that.
So, going back to Dan Le Batard, he has his own company now, a media company.
Okay.
And
we need our own company.
Pablo Torres, who used to be on Sports Reporters
I know
and stuff like that.
I like him.
He works for him now.
He's smart.
He's very smart. He's like Harvard trained or something.
He is. I think he is, actually.
He's basically Harvard trained in dope smokes. But he does deep dives now. That's what he does. So he's doing an interview, and I hear it like on a podcast, interview with Michael Jordan's son. I don't know his name.
Okay.
And Scottie Pippen's ex-wife.
Okay.
I know. 16 years difference between Michael Jordan's son and Scottie Pippen's wife, and they're engaged.
Michael Jordan's son and Scottie Pippen's wife?
Yeah, let that sink into the audience. Scottie Pippen's ex-wife.
Okay, ex-wife.
And Michael Jordan's son. Now, you know that Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen are probably around the same age, within a few years.
Right. They are.
Played together for a long time.
That's right.
Little bit of heat recently. Coming out with the Michael Jordan documentary and all that stuff.
That's right.
And Pippen coming out saying Michael Jordan's not the greatest player ever, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So a little bit of beef. Is that what the kids calling it? Is that lit?
I don't know.
No, lit?
It's not lit. Bet.
So
that's for Kobe.
Yeah, so they're interviewing them. And she was on the Housewives or Housewives of the NBA Housewives or something, one of those shows, Beverly Hills, Hollywood.
Good for her.
Housewives,
Great.
whatever.
Wonderful. Trash TV, as Amy would say.
So they're discussing the wedding, and Pablo's like, well, is your dad going to be the best man at the wedding? And his son, ate it up. He's like, yeah, I was the best man at my dad's wedding recently, and, blah, blah, blah. I was best man at my brother's wedding. Yeah, he'll be the best man at my wedding. And I'm like, can you imagine Michael Jordan giving a toast at this wedding? He threw people under the bus at his Hall of Fame speech. He cannot say something without knocking other people down. That's part of his style.
I guess.
He's got to be a miserable human being.
That's a little harsh.
And he has yellow eyes. Did you see the dance? He's got yellow eyes.
His eyes are very
just
reddish.
Like Scott Farkas from the Christmas Story.
Yeah, I know it. I think you're being a little harsh, but okay.
Scottie Pippen's ex-wife and Michael Jordan's son. Is that not creepy AF?
I don't care that much. I'm sorry. I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Sidetrack. What's this jacket for?
I have it here at the office when it gets cold. I bought it at Walmart for like $10.
I thought Scott was giving it to me or something.
No. Well, it's a Walmart, and I got nothing on it. It's just a $10 Walmart jacket.
Just like he gave it to you last night, Trebek. That's all my stories. The only thing else I have is Matthew Perry.
It was lame.
That's why I don't have a solo podcast. Give me some credit over here. I'm not the great orator. The great
No, you're not.
You're
a good color man.
Color man, yeah. As long as the color is extremely white.
Yes, that's true. All right, listen. You
didn't like the Jordan story.
I honestly don't care that much.
Is it not somewhat shocking though? A little bit.
Why would it shock me? They run in the same circles.
Oh man, she's 16 years older than him.
Okay, how old is he?
I think it's like 33, and she's like 49.
Who cares?
No,
Good for her.
I'm giving him a
high
high
five. Good for her bagging a young man. I don't know. I don't care. I don't judge. They're both adults.
It's a little weird.
I get if you say so, man. I don't care. All right, so the other day, this is just earlier. It was last week.
I was at your mom's house.
Where are you? On her tax-free weekend?
You
got to book in advance.
You do.
Book in advance. So, Randa comes in there I'm at home.
Shout out.
She comes in there. We watch TV separately.
Okay.
We've learned a long time ago. We're not one of these couples that watches TV together.
Okay.
Because we don't watch the same shows for the most part. She watches cooking shows and NYPD Live Blue or whatever. I say that because there's a new Live PD. I don't even know what it's called.
Is she coincidentally, she's not in the police force, and
no,
I don't know. Does she cook very much?
No.
So this
and she listens to the scanner, the fireman scanner, nonstop on her phone. Because you can get those scanner apps on your phone. She loves emergency services. She doesn't want to do it. Stresses her out. But she feels good knowing that there's people out there taking care of stuff. It's like, oh, somebody's out there taking care of stuff. So I don't have to take care of that. I was like, I know that. I don't need to see them. I just know that. But she watches in the bedroom. I watch in the living room. And she comes in there and she's like, Matthew Perry died. And my first reaction, normally when it's like a celebrity, I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Well, good to know. Thanks for the heads up. No big deal. I honestly kind of I'm sad. I'm kind of instantly not like super sad, okay? But kind of that's a bummer.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bummer. And then I started thinking about it a little bit. I'm like, why do I care that much? Okay? Yeah, I know he was a pivotal character on a hit TV show.
Yeah.
During a pivotal point in our lives.
Yep.
And so I understand that. Okay? I think I did look at him as more of a friend, to borrow the pun of friends. It's just think he wasn't just a celebrity. He was like someone I kind of knew, and not that we hung out or anything. It's just like, oh, that's Chandler, that's that type of thing. And that goes for all six of them. So Seinfeld is different because they were older.
Yeah, they're older than us.
Not like a ton older, but about 10 years, I'd say on the average.
I think older than that.
Is that so? Probably.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that. Maybe 15.
Probably.
They were in their mid to late 30s, getting close to 40, whereas the Friends, so when Matthew Perry,
I think he's 3 years older than us.
he's 4.
4 years.
He died the other day and he's 54.
What are you doing to that table over there? You're like squeaking on it.
It's it's just calm down. It's the chair. Sorry.
Well, I'm very sensitive about the audio now. Thank you, Philip.
Well, listen, if you can hear my voice,
I don't want Philip turning it off.
If you can hear my voice, then don't worry about it. Okay? So he was I didn't think about it during that time period in my life, but he was only 4 years older than us.
Okay.
And so the show Friends started in 1994.
Yes.
He was 24 years old.
Wow.
We were, do the math.
What, you're 94?
Yeah. But early 94. Let's say it that way.
Yeah, 21.
20. Yeah. 2021.
Mm-hmm.
We were right there. Hence the 4 years. That's why I was setting you up for the slow pitch softball question of he's 24.
I don't know where you're going.
We're 4 years younger. How old were we if he was 24?
So I was born in February. And so I'm pretty much all of
during that year,
of 94. I'm 21.
Some of that year you were 20.
Like,
I don't care.
33 days.
I don't care. Some of that year. Moving on. So that was a point in our life, and I watched during it ran for how many years?
10.
That's exactly right. Did you know that already? Did I tell you that?
I know a lot of stuff.
You do know a lot of stuff. 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
10 years. And 94 to 2004. That would
be 10 years. You see this?
Hang on, I got something for you over here. Can you see that?
No.
Can you see it?
That keeps us under the rating.
No one knows. No one knows. Yeah, I inferred that I was making a certain gesture, but you, the listener/viewer, don't know if I did that or not. So you can't accuse me of doing it when you don't know for sure. I don't know all of their ages, but they were all around that age. I think they were all. So that was the Friends were basically in their 20s, and the Seinfeld group was 30s. Mid 30s. Friends were mid 20s. That's kind of the setup. And we obviously identified much more with the mid 20s than we did with Seinfeld. Seinfeld was a fantastic show, and I watched it religiously. But I was closer to Friends as far as that stage in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it pretty religiously. I mean, I watched Seinfeld and Friends. Like when that was back in the day, when it was Thursday night, right? Thursday night was the night to watch TV, and you had to, even before you had all these DVRs, you had VCRs. So some people did that, but not many. And so you were glued to your TV at 7 o'clock on a Thursday night.
I remember getting a programmable VCR and spending an hour setting up, and then you prayed no power outages or anything to reset the thing.
Exactly. I think 95% of all VCRs just had the flashing 12 on them.
Yeah.
Now near the end of near the end of the VCR life, when they close to the point when they stopped making them, they got smart. And they had an auto-update time feature, so you just plugged them in, and then they knew the time.
Sure.
So no more the blinking 12, but it's like they all did that. It was kind of funny.
Yeah, you taped that.
But not many people did that. You had a handful. Oddly enough, on Seinfeld, like he used a VCR like to tape Mets games, stuff like that. So it was definitely during that time period. And so Thursday night, man, boom, I'm there. I got to wait for Friends to come out in Seinfeld and talk about it at work the next day, that type of thing.
But even when you
whatever.
taped it on VCR, you watched it pretty quick.
You did.
Even if you did tape it.
You might skip through the commercials or whatever, but other than that, you watch it pretty quick. So my point is, that was a big part of our lives. Is Friends and Seinfeld. Those were the shows at the time. And so many of us and our peers were very invested in those shows. And so You do, I liken it a little bit to my mom saying when she watches like the Home Shopping Network, she's like, "Oh, I feel like they're my friends, because I hear them talking so much." Or whatever. It's similar with certain actors in reoccurring shows, or shows that it's the same character over and over, and you just think, "Oh, well, that's my friend Chandler." And so going back, when Randa told me that was kind of my initial reaction, was like, "Oh, an old friend of mine died," and I'm like, well, "He's not an old friend of mine, but it feels a little bit that way."
Well, the group of friends we had, we all came from someplace else and ended up in Oklahoma City.
Yes.
So, that's another level of connection. We didn't have other connections outside of our group. I mean, a little bit,
true.
But not much.
Right.
And that show was, obviously different scenarios, they're in New York City, et cetera, but
right.
the premise, we're living that in Oklahoma City as they're living that in New York City,
right?
And the parallel between friend groups and around that same age going through similar situations, finding jobs, blah blah blah,
right,
love affairs,
yes,
especially like when we had ours, it almost ruined the friend group.
You mean me and you?
Yeah.
When did
You've forgotten already?
Did you roofie me?
They didn't have roofies back then.
Oh, I think they did.
We just used Valium.
I think they called it Spanish fly.
Nice reference.
I'm Gen Xer, man. Come on, I know all those references. Good points. So you have a hit TV show.
Yeah.
And easily, okay, this isn't just my opinion, but easily you could say that Friends, certainly it's on almost anybody's top 10 sitcom list of all time. And you could definitely make an argument top 20 show of all time that it would make that list. Now Friends is going to make that, excuse me, Seinfeld is going to make that list too.
Sure.
Like I said, for me, Seinfeld is still number one.
Seinfeld's a better show.
The Office is probably right in front of Friends for me, but they're 1, 2, 3 like that.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Very similar opinion.
So we're talking about an iconic show,
right? Not
just for us during our time period, but for everyone. Kids watch it today, reruns. Because it's just that good of a show. So you have a main character from that show who has died at a relatively very early age.
Yep.
Of 54. Now, I knew a little bit. I never paid all that much attention to. I know that he had substance abuse problems his entire life. In fact, it was just last year. I started Googling a bunch of stuff, and just last year he'd given or maybe it's 2 years ago. I think it was last year. He gave a interview, pretty in-depth interview, and he said he started drinking alcohol at age 14. And then he was quickly,
late starter.
Drink. Wow. Not true. And he drank more and more, and then started getting into drugs, and and then he admitted even when he was on the show, there were times when he would come into film an episode of Friends, and he was inebriated, or on something or whatever.
A quote from either him live or his book or something I came across said, "If I'm fat, I was drinking. If I was thin, I was on pills. And if I had a goatee, I was on a lot of pills." He said he spent $6 to $9 million estimate on rehab over the years.
Wow.
Yeah, he had some bad addiction issues. That's him saying that.
Yeah.
Now, by the time this airs, we may know more information.
We may. Now, all we know, all I heard is
he drowned.
So he was in his hot tub at his home.
He had played pickleball for 2 hours that morning or whatever.
Okay.
And then early afternoon, mid-afternoon.
Kudos to him. Even his pickleball coach, I was like, I want to be a pickleball coach.
Yeah, and
how do we be pickleball coaches?
I've told
to the stars.
I don't know. I've told a few people
that's the main takeaway here.
My background in tennis and liking tennis, he was in a lot of charity events and did some celebrity tennis tournaments, exhibitions.
A competitive tennis player at
one
point?
I think he would be like, if he was just he could play in a regular men's league and be a decent tennis player. He's not a pro, obviously, but he knew what he was.
4.5.
I'd say a 4.0, 3.5, 4.0. I don't know.
Are you proud of me for knowing that number?
Yeah.
Thanks. I didn't know. 4.0.
But he was into tennis. Obviously, he gotten into pickleball.
Yeah.
The last couple of years.
Yeah.
Fastest growing sport.
Yeah.
John McEnroe laughs at that. But then he goes and cashes a check for being in a pickleball tournament.
Yeah, I bet.
He does.
Oh, that's funny.
He says he'll do it too.
No, well, yeah, it is the fastest growing. I don't care what he says. It's great. It's a fantastic sport.
It is a good sport.
It's fantastic.
But I treated a guy, first patient broke his hip playing pickleball.
Wow.
So anyway, he played pickleball that morning and then drowned in the hot tub.
He was alone in his hot tub. And
his assistant had left. His assistant left to go pick up some glasses or something for him.
Okay. And he was alone, and he drowned.
That's all we know right now.
Okay. Do we know he drowned, or he was just found dead in his hot tub?
I think he would drown in the hot tub is what I've heard.
Okay. Here's what I'm going to say. Okay, you listening?
Yeah.
Get your headphones on. Can you hear my voice?
I can hear you fine.
He lived a hard life.
Very. Admittedly.
Yes. And even if I don't know what killed him.
Right.
And we may never know, and that's fine. I don't need to know, frankly, but I can tell you this. That at the very least, even if he didn't die of actually being on a substance at the time of his death, the entirety of the abuse throughout his life of substances, I mean, your system takes a beating.
The obvious
and
guess is that it had something to do with it. I mean, it doesn't take Albert Einstein to make that jump.
Your body,
but we don't know for sure,
is not used to that kind of abuse.
I mean, he could have had a heart attack and then drowned. I mean, I don't know.
He's 54. He's 54, but health-wise, he could have been 90. You know what I'm saying? His body
could have been. I mean, the obvious thing would be he either took something or was on some kind of prescription med, took too much, whatever. I mean, it's an assumption.
It's terribly sad, but it speaks to me that, number one, he had this problem before fame, and he had the problem during fame, and he had the problem kind of after fame.
Absolutely.
When I say after fame, I mean like he wasn't hot of late.
He had been in rehab, I think, in the last 3 or 4 years.
He was in a handful of shows after Friends, but he never really took off. I mean, he was Chandler.
They had lots and lots of money, though.
No. At the end, they were making it, and it's widely known.
Yeah.
They all admitted that they were making $1 million per episode per main cast member. For the 6 of them, they were making $1 million per episode.
I think they have some syndication deals.
Oh, of course
it's
they do.
on like 24/7 on Nickelodeon.
Of course.
And it's. But getting back, this one, it didn't hit me like a shock.
Okay.
But it hit me like somebody I knew pretty well did pass away.
Yeah.
And it's sad. We're getting to that age. I know you talked about a little bit your little reunion of some people you grew up with.
That's right.
Recently, but
that's right.
I think it's my watch.
Oh.
There was a couple people you'd reached out to that had died. You had said something on the podcast about that.
One of them was Jeff and I. It was probably our best friend from the church in high school, and we had just lost touch, and I didn't know anything. And David Holmes, I'll say his full name, finally got a hold of his mom, and she's like, he died like 20 years ago, man.
Yeah, and
wow, that is a bummer.
That group that was a little above you was Jeff's brother Jerome was a part of that.
That's right.
Like 3 out of the 4 are gone.
That now you're the one making a rookie mistake.
It's so the new garage door you helped install, or actually didn't help. You just installed it at my house. Thank you. Shout out Shane.
The garage door opener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Garage door opener. I mean, whatever.
It was telling you that it was.
Yeah.
Being open.
So it tells me it opens and closes now.
Fancy.
I've got some more projects coming though. The parts again. It took a while to get here, but the gas fireplace. You're going to come over and help me fix that.
Listen. I will.
I've got every part ordered under the sun.
I will. Let me tell you.
And then you're gonna have to help me hook up my remotes to the garage door opener.
Let me tell you something. Little off top thing. We're gonna come right back because I'm not done.
No, we're not done. I've got some more with this. Let's hit it.
Lori F. she's enabling me because at the church,
shout out,
they were giving away a washer and dryer. They just needed it gone. They didn't even know if it worked. It's stackable, and I was like, well, I'll take it and see if I'd like to fix stuff.
Put it in your
shop. So Lori was there. She knew it, and then she hit me up yesterday and was like, hey, we're getting rid of an old washer and dryer. Do you want it? I'm like, yes, I do.
You're turning into your dad.
I am.
Yes.
I know, Ken. That's what scared me. I was like, I'm going to have, instead of lawnmowers, though, it's washer and dryers. Now, my dad never sold any.
Yeah.
That's where he and I differ because I get it, I fix it, and if I don't have a use, I flip it, I sell it. So I'm going to get rid of them, but...
You've got a few more weeks, and I've got some stuff for you. We're going to hit it pretty hard.
Listen.
Like I
listen.
Mama hard last night. Trebek.
I'm this close to moving into my house.
Right.
And being done with my old house.
Yeah.
But it's still like we are in the last stretch.
I know.
And
I've been very patient.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. It may not happen. It may not happen. Oh, and we got way sidetracked because going back to what we were saying earlier is I want to go back to every week, not every other week. Reminding me of my mistakes. And we discussed it, you and I. And so next year.
Yeah, I want to look at it.
We're gonna do something every week. It may not be the Shane and Ken show every week, but we're gonna do something every week. And so because we've got new technology, we can bring in more people, and I want to do that too. I want more people to be on the show. So it's gonna be back weekly. So calm down, everybody.
Before I knew about Matthew Perry,
Mainly I'm talking to me.
This is a connection. Same kind of period for us. Same people. Blah blah blah.
Okay.
So I was watching. I'm gonna say a bad word.
Your
mother-in-law will be upset. I was watching. You know the show Jackass?
Of course I do.
So Steve-O. Jackass.
We were Jackass before they were, by the way. Yes, I know.
So Steve-O, he's got a pretty good podcast. He gets some good guests.
Okay.
And he's interesting.
Okay.
So he has Corey Feldman on the show.
Oh yeah.
Jenny and I, shout out my wife.
Jenny.
We have a soft spot for Corey Feldman. I think he was. I mean, he says he was abused in Hollywood. I believe it.
Okay.
I think some of the stuff he says is sensationalized.
It does,
and it seems like every bad thing on earth happens to him or whatever.
He certainly seems like he's partially a victim of child.
Yeah.
Being famous as a child. Now, but on the flip side, Sean, what's his name? That was also on the Goonies. That's been in a million things.
Sean Astin.
Astin, yeah. Look at him. So
we don't know his personal.
It's not 100%.
We don't know his personal.
It's not 100%, but you do have a lot of people who are child actors, and their lives are just they turn out miserable.
Yeah, but he says he named names. He says he was abused.
Oh, like sexually.
Yeah, like raped by men.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
So anyway, he made a documentary.
I was like, women? How did that?
You're gonna have to follow me for a second, okay? Listen.
Okay, I'm listening. I got headphones on. I can't hear you.
So he was best friends with Corey Haim.
Yes, I know.
And
okay.
Dude, I
loved
Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, and what was the Lost Boys?
Lost
and
Boys,
all that.
Baby. My sister Crystal's favorite show. We had the beta tape of it, man.
Nice.
Wore that thing out.
So Corey Haim had died. So Corey Feldman made this documentary a few years back.
Okay.
And I kept looking for it. Never got released.
Did he die of like drugs?
Corey Haim died. So
I know.
So I watched. Now listen, you're not letting me finish my story.
I know that. I just want to know, did he die of drugs?
Just listen for a minute.
Okay, I'm listening.
Don't interrupt.
Okay.
So I finally tracked down bootleg the documentary that he made. Okay.
Feldman or Haim?
Corey Feldman made.
Okay, Feldman, got it.
And he names the names, blah, blah, blah. Talks about the death of Corey Haim.
Okay.
And anyway, connection to Matthew Perry, Corey Haim died, and everybody immediately is like, oh, he had a relapse on drugs, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
And he was a pretty big drug addict, had a lot of problems.
Okay.
He was also had named names about being raped around that same period. They were 12 to 16 years old. Go watch the documentary if you want to know more details.
Terrible.
Because that's not what this podcast is about. But
no.
But again, he died of pneumonia. But even his publicist and his manager, and I mean, it's like basically his body was worn out from all the abuse.
Exactly.
So at the very least, I think that's probably the Matthew Perry case. But we're not saying that he died of an overdose. He may have.
Right.
I don't know. But again, Corey Haim was worn out, and basically Hollywood killed him, is my opinion on it. Hollywood killed Corey Haim. I don't know if Hollywood
kills a lot of people.
Matthew Perry, I mean, I think he was very, very, very intelligent. I don't know what that has to do with it, but I identified with him.
He did say, he said...
Because he was a bit of a smart A.
He wanted to be famous. He wanted to be someone important, and he achieved it.
He was the one I identified with on the show. He was my favorite on the show.
He really was pretty much
felt like
an unknown before, and he was 24. Now, he had been in a few
He'd been in some commercials, and then I think one show.
Couple shows, yeah. But no big roles, and then boom, he blew up.
But through our adulthood, I mean, this is the show we talked about. This is the show we went to. This is the show we identified with. This is the show we quoted. Pivot.
Fantastic.
And truth be known, I didn't like Ross that much. I didn't identify with what was Joey Matthew? What's his name?
LeBlanc.
Matthew LeBlanc.
Yes.
So I didn't identify with him. I had the hots for Courtney Cox, just like Matthew Perry on the show.
I didn't like her very much.
See, I did.
Jennifer Aniston. I mean, she's always been pretty great. So
they're all washed up now. Sorry,
not Jennifer Aniston.
So
not her. She's timeless. Come on, man.
Okay, whatever.
Phoebe was okay. Listen, I didn't identify with any of them because I'm like, my life isn't like.
You don't have like a favorite character. Like if you're watching Dawson's Creek.
No,
I like Pacey.
Phoebe was probably my favorite because she was just. I loved her happy-go-lucky attitude. It was just kind of like, oh, whatever. Oh, okay.
No, Chandler Bing was my favorite.
I loved it.
I hated Janice though. Oh,
I
think we were supposed
What was your
Janice.
favorite episode?
Don't really have one that I know of. No.
Okay.
No.
I do.
I mean, the pivot's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny, but that's not a full episode, I mean,
Joey doing the commando squats. With all of Chandler's clothes.
Not bad. I was gonna say you're like Joey, not Chandler.
No,
because Chandler was known for wearing a lot of clothes, but it was Joey who put on all of his clothes.
So what was your favorite episode?
The one where they had the game show that Ross emceed, and it was Chandler and Joey against Monica and Rachel.
Okay.
For who gets the apartment.
Oh yeah.
But it didn't start out that way. It escalated.
Okay.
It was like small, like who knows who best, that type of thing, and then it escalates, and then the whole game show is just hilarious. And their reactions, and then how excited they are to play, and different things. And do you know what won it? What just cracks me up? Do you know the question that won it? For
what
the
does
boys?
Chandler Bing do for a living?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
They had no idea.
Nobody knew.
Had no idea what he had done for a living. Like one of their closest friends in life. He's like, you really don't know what I do for a living.
No.
That's unbelievable. Wow. Okay. And they were on the show very vague about what he did. But anyway,
I love that show. I mean, and
it was great.
Seinfeld, and then we had got on a phone call today. I was like, let's hold it for the podcast. But the girl from. What was the show we were talking about? Can't Buy Me Love with Patrick Dempsey, and then we're around that age of them, and I was a dork and I dreamed about he had cut grass and saved money and bought the girl a jacket because she spilled wine on it, and then hey, I'm gonna dude. As an adolescent boy, you dreamed of stuff like that happening. I mean, that's why they made the movies. And again, I was joking. I wanted the Russians and Cubans to invade my school so I could save all the girls.
Red Dawn, baby.
Red Dawn. Wolverines.
So we were children of
the 80s.
You had 16 Candles. You had The Breakfast Club. St. Elmo's Fire, right? But I liked those shows, but I didn't really identify with them. Yeah, I think they were just a little older than what I was.
I wanted to identify with them.
No, I understand that. But Can't Buy Me Love was my favorite movie at that time.
Well, I didn't get to the point.
Because it felt like real high school life.
The actress
and the nerd getting the hot girl or whatever was just like, whoa, that's exciting. Of course.
But anyway, she died a few years back. I don't remember how many.
Sad.
She was strung out too. But it was like, oh my gosh, because I mean, even as an adult, I'm listening to Bill Maher interview Russell Brand, and Russell Brand's lived a pretty wild life.
Yes.
Basically, he's a Hollywood actor, comedian, very intelligent.
I know.
Lived a rock star life, and Bill Maher's like, dude, you lived a rock star life. Why are you knocking it now? Like, you did everything that everybody wants to do.
Right.
But he was going down the road of the pitfalls of that. But, again, we wanted to be Patrick Dempsey in real life.
Sure.
You're cashing checks and being in movies.
Right.
And getting with girls.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. And then even with Matthew Perry, full circle, it's probably not quite what it should be or seems to be. Or
No,
and
yeah.
then, that girl dying from that kind of hit me because I love that movie. She dies.
Me too.
Now Matthew Perry dies. I mean, Corey Haim.
So she too.
Yeah.
So that was they weren't much older than us at that time.
No, probably the same age.
May have been. No, I think it cracks me up today because Patrick Dempsey was the geek.
Yes.
Right. And he was. They kind of made him up to be a geek. And then later in life he's like McDreamy.
Mm-hmm.
He's like everybody's heartthrob, like Time Sexiest Man of the Year or whatever, crap like that. And no, but I mean
he's not your Brad Pitt.
No, he's no Brad Pitt.
What are you gonna do when Brad Pitt dies?
I don't even want to think about it, man. I don't even want to think about it. So let's not talk about it. Let's not go there. So it's funny to me because he was in my mind the geek, and then in real life though he's this heartthrob. I'm like, okay, well he was clearly still pretty. He wasn't a good enough geek back when. He needed more acne and he needed to be overweight or something like that. In band.
I was a band.
I know.
Yeah.
That's a shot across the bow of all my Mike T.
Band nerds.
And your boy, band. Bunch of nerds. Not true. That's not true. There's plenty of good people in band.
Sure.
Attractive people, too. It's not all ugly people.
Yeah.
It's a lot of ugly people, but not all ugly people.
Yeah.
So, you were attractive in band?
Sure.
No.
I had long hair.
You did. I remember your hair was fantastic.
Thin.
You were like Agassi, baby.
Yeah.
You
thin,
were.
Long hair.
Great. What happened, Ken? What happened? Life.
Hormones.
All right. So, yeah, younger people will just be like, oh, Matthew Perry died. Well, okay, big deal because that's a has-been actor. No big deal. But to us, to Gen Xers specifically,
yeah,
it hits home because he was an important person during an important part of our life, an important person in society as a whole.
Yeah,
not to anyone on an individual level, but just to society as a whole. Like it's similar when Chris Farley died. I kind of went through that a little bit with Chris Farley, not quite as much, but a little bit. Just thinking, man, that's my friend. I've seen him in everything, and he's close to my age. He died way too young.
Way too young. But on the flip side, you can kind of see it coming.
No, I didn't say you can't see it coming.
It doesn't make it easier. But
I didn't say you can't make it coming. Can't see it coming. It's just so sad. Versus having an older actor,
Charlton Heston.
Yeah, Charlton Heston dying. He was like, okay, he was like 90 or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how old he was. Or George Burns dying because
not a shock.
No. What's the Golden Girls chick that lived forever? She was sharp.
Oh, Betty White.
Betty White dying. Like, oh, okay,
she was pretty active to the day she died, though.
No, she was, but she was like 125 years old.
You know who died today? I think Bobby Knight.
Really?
Basketball player.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Didn't know that.
But it doesn't.
Never a fan.
No, I wasn't either, really. I mean, I'm a sports fan, so I enjoyed some of it because I think you do need some characters, but
I was talking to someone the other day, it's totally random, about how my dad was not into sports really at all. My mom certainly wasn't. My sisters certainly weren't. And I got into sports like at a very early age. Like something resonated in me with sport, like just super early. Now, you could make the argument I liked playing sports, and therefore I hung out with a bunch of sports friends, and they like sports, like following all the major sport. And of course, growing up in Houston, you had all the major teams,
right.
And so you kind of felt
Astros
that. Hey,
to the Rangers.
Did you see the Tennessee Titans just this past week had throwback jerseys? It was the Oilers.
Oh, nice.
It was the identical Oilers, and I watched the game and I was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen.
Awesome. I missed it.
It brought so many memories back.
Yeah.
Catch some highlights from it.
Okay.
You're going to love it. They won, too. That's another great thing about it. Oh, it was just like flooding back. But my point being, typically you're a sports fan or a hunter or fisher because your dad or your family is that type of thing. And for me, I'm like, wow, that's kind of funny because I didn't come from a sports family. Yet I just was from an early age. I loved it. I followed it. I loved baseball. Baseball was my number one sport. Like the Astros, I watched every game, which they're on every day. Okay, I watched every single one, and I got mad when they lost. You know, that type of thing.
Yeah.
86, Mike Scott, man, that was brutal 86.
Who made the last out?
Doran?
Kevin Bass.
Kevin
Bass,
that's right.
I was mad. I ran home that day to kick.
John B., who was on the show, was at that game.
Nice.
At the Astrodome. He's at that game. It's just heartbreaking. The Oilers losing to the Bills.
Yep.
These are
the week before we killed them.
That broke me. It just broke me.
We were in college when that happened.
But it hurt bad.
It did hurt.
And it's just funny because we're sports guys.
But the Rockets 94 and 95.
Yeah. We had our moments.
Yeah.
We had our moments.
Nice.
The Comets.
Get out of here.
They won the very first ever.
Get out of here.
Women's sports matter, Ken. Are you trying to say they don't?
It does, but that's boring.
Wow. Oh, so you're saying women's sports are boring? Is that what you're saying?
You said that.
I feel like that's what you just said.
So the Comets are boring.
So the WNBA is boring.
Yeah.
Women's sports are boring. You heard it here.
I'm all for it.
Okay.
Do it. I don't watch it. I don't watch all men's sports.
I bet you watch that lingerie NFL football league or whatever.
No, I don't. I don't even watch.
Do you watch any of them?
I don't even watch the regular NBA. I mean NFL most of the time.
I do. You remember the lingerie league?
I've heard of it.
It's like 1 or 2 seasons. I never watched the game. For the record, I never watched it. I don't have anything against it.
You sure do know a lot about it.
Well, I remember it. I mean,
what women's sports do you watch?
First of all, I got into the WNBA this year. The finals, the Liberty and the Aces.
No way.
The big time storylines. That was fun to watch. I didn't catch the last game, and unfortunately, the stupid Aces won. I was rooting for the Liberty, but no, I could get. Listen,
I watch a lot.
The WNBA and NBA are different games. Yeah. Let me be clear. They're different games. They're not the same game.
I'm not going down that road.
They each have their pluses and minuses.
What women's sports do you watch?
I just told you. I watch the WNBA. I watch some women's golf.
I watch women's tennis.
I watch some women's tennis, depending on if there's a USA player.
I like the softball every year, the softball World Series.
I get into that too. Yeah, if OU or OSU's in it, yeah, sure, I can get into that.
I'll watch some other games too if they're.
I'll watch volleyball during the Olympics. I like a lot of that stuff. I like volleyball.
I'll watch women's sports during the Olympics.
Okay,
almost any of them.
All right, look at the time.
I know, man.
See right there on the screen. Not the camera.
Time
but on
flies
the
when you're having fun.
It really does. It really does. All right, listen.
What am I listening to?
To me.
Shh. Listening to Reason. What movie is that from?
I don't know.
Pee-wee's Playhouse. Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Wow. Sad when he died, right?
That was a little bit of a shock too, yeah?
Yeah.
Paul Rubens?
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
I was calf teasing because I really didn't know that he had died.
He did.
Now that you say that, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess he did die. Once again, it'd be great for my app, Dead or Alive.
They have that.
They do?
Yes.
Well, someone needs to pay me some royalties because I came up with that idea.
No, it's been around for a long time.
I came up with it years ago. Ask anybody. I came up with it years ago.
I'm out of here. It's time for me to go eat. I'm not having Chick-fil-A tonight.
Too. Gardetto's. It's what's for dinner.
We doing one more?
Yeah.
When you're having a hell of a day, the only way is the Scott J way. Paintless dent repair.
Dent Services, brought to you by Scott J. and Company.
405-641-DENT.
If you want to dent up your ex's car, give Scott a call.
Absolutely.
If you need your car repaired after your ex dented it up via Scott James, give Scott. Oh, I said his full name.
Oh, man. I'm going to leave that in there.
Dang it. I'm sorry, Scott.
Beep.
Well, it's, people could look it up if they really want to know. There you go. And it gives us these cups, and they're like camouflage.
Yeah.
What am I going to take this hunting?
Yeah. No, it's like.
I know.
You're missing.
Well, the table's black. If our table had leaves on it, I would know where.
All right, I'm shutting it down.
Like you're going to take it hunting?
You got 15 seconds.
I don't hunt.
14, 13.
Don't do that. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Well, then you wrap it up.
Hey, thanks for joining. Thanks for listening or watching or whatever. Ken's a jerk. All right. Until next time.